What's up, family? How y'all doing? It's good to see you guys. It's been quite a few months since the last time I produced a video and had a chance to really, vlog and talk about my travel experiences. What I'll say is recently I got a chance to head up to Chicago, and I was skeptical about going up to Chicago. I was worried about the hype that the media does regarding how dangerous it is. They always quote it on the news, like how many murders they've had or how many people they've been shot over the last month or so in Chicago, and they give these scary statistics. So it makes it seem like Chicago is a place where all the citizens are trying to duck bullets constantly. It kind of reminds me of my hometown of Durham. The media around here hypes Durham up to be the most dangerous place you could ever imagine being. Its citizens are constantly running from bullets, but growing up there, that's not the case. And the same is true with Chicago, but that still didn't stop my apprehension. But what happened was my buddy, my cousin Keith, he invited me to come up there with him. He threw out a date. I talked to Jasmine, and she was like, "Yeah, go ahead. Have a chance at this guy trip." So that's what he and I did. We got us our plane tickets in order, and we got a room, and that's when we did it. So we made it up to Chicago. Well, we're back for another adventure, y'all. This time I'm with Keith.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we're in Chicago. Happy to be here. First time I've ever traveled here, and I'm excited. I just don't want to get shot. You get shot here a lot. At least they say that on the news, but we'll see. Now, once we got into Chicago, we used public transit to at least get us to the main touristy area, the Magnificent Mile. It got us to there, but that was about the only time that we actually used the public transit there. We mostly just walked after that. To be honest with you, while the tube is useful, while you can go and take advantage of their public transit, it's just so much more fun walking in a city yourself, kind of getting the sights and sounds without trying to skip across town on the train or the subway. If the city's, if that's doable within the city. I'm not saying doing that in somewhere like New York, you kind of need to use the subway there. But Chicago, the places that you want to be is pretty much within walking distance. So Keith, tell me now, what's so great about coming to Chicago?
So far it's good, man. Good weather. We haven't gotten the good food yet. Great sights. We've seen a lot. Good buildings, lots of buildings, a lot of historical stuff. So we just getting started. You know what I'm saying?
Just getting started. So far, so good. Not too dangerous yet. Now, when we got there, we got the chance to get to the Magnificent Mile, Michigan Avenue, and immediately one of the first things we did, was we headed to Millennium Park. Millennium Park's where the Bean is and where some other iconic photos are taken there as well. So we got a chance to check it out, and you'll see a few pictures of that as well. We got a chance to go to the Bean. We also saw this, interesting looking theater and some other different sites. So we're walking up to the Bean. Just got here, and look what has happened. You can't even walk up to it. Major disappointment, but we can at least get a good photo of it. But then we needed to get some lunch, of course, and you know, one of the first things to do when you go to a place like that is, you know, you need to get the iconic food that they have there.
So we're gonna get some pizza.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know about this pizza because I'm a diabetic and, you know, I don't have time for my blood sugar to be 500.
Oh well.
What's the name of this place, Keith?
Giordano's.
Giordano's.
Or whatever. Or whatever.
Or whatever. So, my first deep dish pizza.
You know, what ended up happening is we got this wonderful deep dish. You know, I'm telling you, when you go to Chicago, you have to try out the deep dish that they have there. Different than New York. It's not pizza per se. You know, it's more like a casserole. That's what a lot of people call it. And it's interesting. Many of the locals actually don't even like to eat the Chicago deep dish. They'd rather have a little bit more of a flat, a little bit closer to a traditional style pizza as opposed to this giant casserole type of pizza. So, but either way, for Keith and I, that was great. We then got a chance to take a walk down further on Michigan Avenue. And one thing you'll notice at Michigan Avenue is that there is a Starbucks reserve. Now, you know, with Starbucks, of course, you know, that's your usual typical kind of coffee. You know, it's becoming so common that I worry it's going to end up like Subway.
All right, Keith, we're going to have to get in here. We got to get to the Starbucks reserve. You know what I'm saying? We're going in there. Gang, gang.
But these are really, really special types of Starbucks because they like create these really cool concoctions of coffee that you may not have ever had before, and it gives you a nice change up from your usual frappe or your macchiatos or whatever. So Keith and I got a chance to go in there, check it out. I got myself something. Keith isn't a big Starbucks guy, but I got myself something. You know, you got to get in there and you got to get something. At least that's my opinion. After that, we headed to the Hancock Tower, and going there, honestly, you go there and you just find yourself mesmerized, and I mean mesmerized by the views. It's absolutely stunning.
Normal and of course inevitable traffic down there.
By the way, that's the street you take in Lakeshore to get towards
What was interesting too is they have this attraction there. It's called the Tilt. You know, they've been adding these in all the different towers around the country. You know, and I guess around the world. They're trying to make it so that there's more than just a view for you when you go up there. It makes the tower a little bit more money, and you know, it gives you a little bit more of a unique experience. And that was what we had with the Tilt. So with the Tilt, you know, you're grabbing onto these poles and just like, you know, leaning you forward. And if you have a fear of heights, kind of like me, you get a little nervous at that, but it wasn't too bad. We got a chance to do that. But now, we got a chance to kind of get some more rest because we were walking around all day. Got some more rest, and then it was time for us to head to Willis Tower. Now, if you're not familiar with Willis Tower, it's the most iconic tower there in Chicago. And it's formerly known as the Sears Tower. So, you know, the Sears Tower is one of those big super talls that you see it all the time, you know, as an iconic thing for Chicago, besides the Bean and also Wrigley Stadium. So, you know, we got a chance to get up to Willis Tower, and it was at night. So we got some nice night views of the city. And just like the Hancock Tower, you had something, somewhat of an attraction for people, you know, to go up there besides just seeing, you know, oh, I'm at the top of the Willis Tower. No, you got a chance to go to this thing called the Ledge. That's exactly what Keith and I did. Went to the Ledge, or nothing below us. Wasn't anything below us. We looked down, we saw the street. That is an attraction. Now, again, if you're a little leery of heights, you know, it's nothing to worry about. I wasn't worried. I mean, I was a little nervous, I ain't gonna lie. But, you know, it wasn't nothing to worry about. Something cool for you to do while you're up there.
We're starting the day out. Got my man Keith. This is day number 2.
What it do?
We ready to roll.
But, you know, the next day we got a chance to get out. And what we did was we had booked a river cruise. So we got a chance to get on a river cruise, and we took that cruise all the way around the canals there in Chicago. And that's something that you cannot avoid doing. You need to do a river cruise when you're in Chicago. It gives you some perspectives that you can't get from a car as well as from walking. And that river cruise for us was just real nice.
Building that was done by Virgil Goldberg, you'd be right. He did these in the 1960s. A very experimental kind of architecture where you have a concrete core and floors put on petals to the stem of a flower, kind of like that.
So after we had that river cruise, we got a chance to go up to the Navy Pier. Now, one thing that you'll appreciate about the Navy Pier is this is like, I guess I didn't know this, but it's like one of the #1 attractions of going to Chicago was the Navy Pier. I didn't realize that. I always thought about, you know, just going to the Bean and to the towers, but the Navy Pier has a lot to offer as well. A lot of shopping, a lot of places to eat, and also they have the big giant Ferris wheel that they got up there, which was an attraction as well. We didn't stay there that long though. Honestly, you know, of course, right now it's COVID, so we couldn't do a whole lot anyway. But with that, a lot of the shops and the restaurants at the Navy Pier were kind of closed off as well.
So Pete, tell me where we at, man.
We are at Wrigleyville, which is on North Clark Street. Wrigleyville obviously is where the Chicago Cubs played. Remember, they won their first World Series in 2015 or 16. That was a huge thing because the Cubs were quote unquote cursed for over 100 years. Anyway, we are now at Wrigley Stadium with the Chicago Cubs.
But from the Navy Pier, you know, we ended up leaving and headed up to Wrigleyville. Now, Wrigleyville is the neighborhood where Wrigley Stadium is. And, you know, we got a couple of good photos up there. The park is actually smaller than what I actually could have ever imagined, you know, but it's one of those classic old school type of baseball park. It's not this big sprawling stadium with, you know, an asphalt parking lot surrounding it like a lot of these, you know, modern stadiums. No, it's literally built within that neighborhood, and it's quite a sight. It's really cool to see.
All right, Keith, let's go get us some hot dogs.
Chicago dogs, eh?
You sound like a Yankee.
Chicago dogs, whatever.
You sound like a Yankee.
As I kept going on throughout this whole little experience, you know, one thing I told Keith, I said, hey, look, man, you know, I gotta get this Chicago dog. You know, I already got the pizza, I got the deep dish, I gotta get the Chicago dog.
What do you think, Keith? We'll see what happens with this.
If I could tell you one thing, I would go back to Chicago just to get that hot dog. I've tried to mimic that hot dog even here because it's that good. Now, I'm not some big, huge, like, hot dog fan. You know, I'm actually vegetarian now. And you know, I'm still craving that hot dog. It's still real good.
All right, so we headed to the Riverwalk now. Ain't it right, Campbell?
Yep.
We're gonna get it in on the river. Don't know what we're gonna see though.
Everything.
I guess everything.
You know, we had done a lot of walking around the riverfront, you know, that all throughout the trip, but we hadn't actually gone down to it. So at that point, you know, we decided, hey, let's go down to the riverfront, let's check it out, see what's up.
We made it.
The riverfront really makes Chicago. For me, that was probably the highlight of the trip. Getting down there, and it's just so many people. It's a nice area for you to kind of chill, relax. People bring their families, people are running and exercising. It's kind of like the main square. You know how cities have main town square? That's kind of like what the riverfront is. It's the main square or the main area of Chicago.
So the waterfront so far has been really awesome. Keith has kept me very much entertained because he won't stop and drink any beer with me. He won't drink any wine.
Gang, gang.
He says wine is overrated, but I disagree. So I don't know how we're gonna work this out.
So we got a chance to do that, but we had a unique experience once we emerged from the riverfront. Now, I'm not gonna go into a whole lot of detail about, you know, what actually happened. But I will say this, that, you know, we ran into a protest. So down around that time, we had heard on the news about a certain country in the Middle East that was having some issues with its citizens. They were oppressing them in a certain kind of way. And citizens from that country decided to set up a protest.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
You say you want to see the city? I got you.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
But I will say, you know, it was quite an experience. We got a few shots in. We saw got a few experiences, but we were not in the middle of it. We made sure we got out of it. That's for sure. You know, other than that, you know, we kind of got a chance to chill out the rest of the time. Had a good time just kind of seeing some of the nightlife. We didn't go do a whole lot at the nightlife. You know, honestly, you know, I'm getting older. I ain't old, but you know, you kind of just you walk all day, you're tired. So for me, you know, Keith and I, we wrapped it up pretty early.
See up there? This is what we're trying to avoid. That kind of trouble. Yo, the guys is back. I love it. Oh. He filming it.
That's a wrap, you know, as far as this trip to Chicago. I'll tell you, that was quite an experience up there. I thought it was going to be a dangerous place to be and that it was a risk even traveling there, which, you know, that wasn't the case. It was perfectly fine. The experiences made me see it as a real distinct city from that of New York. You know, New York, you got this real fast-paced vibe. Everybody's going and running, doing stuff constantly. And when you get to Chicago, you see how big the city is from the plane. And then when you get into the city, just chill, just relax, it's calm. Not a lot of craziness. People are still going where they need to go. but they're not sitting back like rushing as if their life depended on it. And that is a different vibe than New York, and it's a welcome vibe in a large city like that compared to New York. And I can't wait to go back and check it out. Honestly, you know, Chicago has me hooked.
All right, this is it, y'all. Keith has already left me, so it's time to say goodbye to Chicago. I'm gonna head home, and I'll catch you on the next adventure.
It's real unique though, really unique in its own way. Has its own different kind of culture. The people, you know, they're kind. You know, New Yorkers are kind. I have no beef about New Yorkers. I love New Yorkers, but I know that they speak real aggressively. That's not the way it is in Chicago. Everybody, hey, you're chilling, and I love that. So, would I go back to Chicago? Of course I would. Definitely, it's on my list of places to go back to. It's its own unique experience. So I hope you enjoyed seeing my experiences. I hope to take Jasmine at some point and bring as many ice creams with me as possible, because that's the only way to get her to walk. But that's a whole, hey, that's a whole other story. Anyway, I'll catch y'all later. As always, fam, we'll chat later.
It's so much harder now to reach you. Your heart is floating in